Have you ever thought about how adding unique abstract shapes could transform your artwork? In my last video, Shapes and Your Emotions, we were looking into the world of shapes, squares, circles, triangles, ovals, cylinders, and exploring the unique moods and emotions they bring into your work in a very intuitive way. And if you haven't seen that video, the link is below. But today we're going to dive deeper into exploring and adding new abstract shapes to elevate your painting to the next level. Painting with abstract shapes is not just about creating something visually striking. It's about unleashing your creativity and breaking free from conventional art forms. It's about experimenting with new techniques and colours and textures and seeing, where your imagination will take you. One of the biggest challenges artists face when trying to break away from conventional painting styles is the fear of not knowing where to start. They often feel overwhelmed by endless possibilities and worry that their artwork won't be good enough. And another common challenge is to fear abstraction itself. Artists often feel a need to be able to control every aspect of their painting, and the thought of letting go and allowing abstract shapes to emerge can be very daunting. Additionally, many artists struggle with the concept of balance and composition when working with abstract shapes. They worry that their painting will be too chaotic or that the shapes won't work together harmoniously. And finally, some artists simply don't know how to incorporate those shapes into their existing style and worry about how the audience will look at it. So when it comes to creating abstract shapes, the possibilities are endless. You can use a variety of materials, obviously acrylic paint, ink or found objects, fabric or paper. You can experiment with different techniques like dripping and splattering or scraping paint to create unique textures and patterns. And of course, colour theory plays a huge role in making your abstract shapes stand out. And you can use contrasting colours to create visual interest, or different colours to bring a harmony. The key is experiment. Find what works best for you to find your style. You can use different prompts for inspiration. And for example, this is some crazy paving on my terrace outside. Now look at the lovely shapes that this has. I could do so many different things with that. It would be fascinating to use that as a prompt. And then here's another lovely prompt which I love. And this is a wonderful scarf that I found a while ago. I'm going to open it up so you can see it because it's fantastic. It's got so many beautiful shapes and colours on it. It's endless inspiration for doing things. And you never know where you're going to find, inspiration. Look at it, it's wonderful. You'll find inspiration in so many different things. One of the most exciting things about working with abstract shapes is that there's no right or wrong. There's no wrong way of doing it. You can't make a mistake because every shape, every colour and every texture is an opportunity to learn and grow. Remember, abstract art is all about expressing yourself, letting your imagination run wild. So don't be afraid to get messy, to try new things and push the boundaries of what you've thought, might be possible. It's fantastic. So now let's get started on this demonstration of how to create an abstract piece using all these different shapes, and it's where the magic happens. So I'm excited to share it with you. So the first thing I'm going to do here, I've taped this down on a board and I'm just going to put a nice first layer on it to give me a starting point. And I'm going to do this in a slightly different way than normal. It's always good to try different things to see how they'll work. I'm actually going to put some paint on here, putting some white, a bit of yellow ochre, I want a tinge of blue, so I'm going to put some blue down here, and probably a bit more white. So I've got my catalyst wedge here, so I'm just going to mix this up and put the foundation in here. Just very, this will give a nice underpainting and a different sort of effect, which is what I want. And it's unpredictable. You don't know how it's going to go until you actually start, and give you a nice starting point. Okay, that's a lovely start, I think. Really nice foundation. I'll just take the rest of the paint off here. Let's put that on so I don't waste any. Come down here. I'm only going up to these lines because what I've got, I think, which is really helpful, is I've got a border. So you can have a look at your picture in a border. I mean, even that's nice as it is, as a very sort of abstract contemporary. But it's kind of nice to, have a look, see where you're up to. So that's why I've done that. That will dry off, and then I'm going to, start the shapes on top. So before I start, I'll just show you some of the materials I'm going to use, the tools. Now, I've got my small box of tools here. I've got my catalyst wedge. I've got some different scrapers, my silicone brushes, which I love. And, I have all these at hand. Some different brayers, my little scrubbing brush, a little roller here and a smaller brayer. And then obviously I've got different brushes. Let me show you what I've got here, just as an example, and I just dive into these, as and when. I've got a whole set of these ones with different sizes, which you can see. I've got these lovely gesso brushes, so I kind of have everything around me, ready to go if the feeling takes me. And then I've got a whole mixed palette. I'm not doing a limited palette. I wanted to do lots of different colours. So I've got a whole array here on my tray. And my spray bottle. I've also got some woody crayons. I love using these because they're water soluble. I can draw with them and then I can paint in the colour, which are great. I love using those. And this week I picked up these lovely pens. They were on sale, and I thought, well, I'll have a go with those. And also I decided to invest in some Posco colours. These are, quite thick tipped, which are really nice to use. So if I get the opportunity, I think I'm going to use those. So some things all sort of ready to go. And then it just is really up to me to, get in the zone, feel where I want to go to, and, begin. Oh, well, with the cat. Thank you, Twinkle. So I'm kind of looking at this and thinking, okay, I'm going to do, I think, some drawing on it just to loosen up to start with. And I always recommend this, if you've seen my videos before, I'm very much into, getting in the zone so you connect yourself with your painting. This is coming from the inside out, and you are expressing yourself on your paper or your canvas. So, getting into that zone, everything else disappears and you can just have fun, drawing and painting and, enjoying the whole process. So I've got a graphite pencil here and I'm just literally going to you know, you won't even see the marks on this, but, you know, I know they're there. And, you know, as we were talking last week, if you haven't seen that video yet, you know, we resonate naturally with different shapes. You know, it could be circles, it could be squares, it could be triangles. You know, you will sort of notice what shapes it is that you tend to lean towards. And we did individual drawings of those different shapes, and then I did a free draw of all of them. And that's what I want to do today in this picture. Come on, Twinkle, off you go. Sorry, down you go. So free drawing, just allowing yourself, you know, what are the shapes that you feel that you would really like to happen. And you can see that I'm not taking my hand off the paper, even though I'm not making, you know, very heavy marks. I'm just sort of allowing myself to get connected with the painting. So I think we're going to make a start and see where it takes us. We don't know. But when you get that connection, something of you, something that's unique about you will start to happen on the paper, and that's what you want. You want to kind of go with that flow. So I'm going to start off with one of these flat brushes to begin with, and I'm actually going to start with black. It's not something that I would normally do, but I kind of feel that, you know, that would be interesting. Now, one of the things I loved about that scarf that I used as an inspiration was the triangle in there. Now, I'm not usually a triangle person. I'm very much into well, circles and cylinders. Sometimes I'm into you know, square shapes, but mostly I would say I'm very much a circle person. So to use triangles for me is kind of quite a thing. So I'm just kind of going to see what happens. I'm doing this very big triangle. Well, it's not going across the page at an angle, put it that way. So I kind of like that, that strength of that. Now, whenever you're doing these kind of, whatever kind of painting you do, you want to make sure that there's that balance. So I've done this very big shape here, and I want to counteract that shape, staying with the black. I need a smaller shape. So it's got some relationship, and it's the same color. I'm making this smaller shape here so it has a balance. And, you know, this is only just to start with, but, you know, it's a good beginning to think about that when you've got the colour on the brush. So I'm going to take this off, and it's very strong for me. But, you know, we want to always be looking at doing something a little bit different and experimenting. So there we are. That's what's coming up at the moment. So I've got some kitchen roll here. I'm just going to clean this off. So I'll change brushes. I'm going to go with a smaller brush, I think. And I'm into my reds, as you probably noticed. I've got my red jumper on. And it's been really wet and windy and horrid, so I wanted to brighten things up and put something bright on. So I'm going to have a look at this red and see, you know, what I might do with the red. And I think I'm going to do kind of a circle here to counteract this very strong shape. and I'm going to put some orange into that. I'm going to just have fun with the colour. I don't, I normally stay with a limited palette, but I want to just do it differently today. So that's kind of nice with the orange. And I might add a little bit of yellow to it as well. Go for gold, why not? And you never know what might happen later, but this is a really good beginning. So I've got this big circle here. I think I want to balance this up somehow here. I'm going to put a line in here. Okay, a bit more red of that in here. It's just kind of going with the flow. Let's see, where it takes us, what wants to happen. And I kind of like that here. And then I'm going to throw it out completely. And I think I might use some magenta. I love classic clashing reds and oranges and really beautiful magenta reds. I think they can be fantastic. So I've got a lovely magenta here, and I feel that it kind of needs some sort of angle. So I'm going to come down with it here. Wow, look at that colour against the red. It's fabulous. I love that. Now, there's nothing wrong in, turning it around and seeing it at different perspectives. What's going on there? Let's do that. So don't feel afraid. You can go at it with all different directions and see, how you feel. So I really like that. That mixture of colours. So I'm going to take some of this colour off here. So I'm going to speed up a little bit, otherwise we'll be here all afternoon or all morning, whenever you're watching. It's fascinating when you're doing these kind of experiments. This is a very different kind of painting for me, but I think it's always great to stretch the boundaries, see what other things that you might enjoy doing. I normally do very intuitive, free kind of drawings and paintings, but I feel that, having a project like this to do, it's kind of a different challenge of combining, the feeling in the colours and the shapes, and actually being more direct with it rather than completely free, kind of looking at it from a colour and balance point of view. So don't be afraid to experiment with different ways of approaching your painting. The scarf is my inspiration for this. I've loved it. I've been dying to do something like this for a long time because when I wear that scarf, it inspires me so much. I love all the different colours and the shapes. So to kind of use that as a springboard, as a prompt to doing something different. It's a nice kind of wonderful creative feeling and surprising. And I feel that, sometimes we do need to surprise ourselves by doing something, deliberately different. Nevertheless, it still stays, very creative, but you're just approaching it in a different way than you might normally. And, then when you come to do your next painting, you're bringing the experience of doing this kind of thing into that painting. It constantly, builds your confidence and your skills and your techniques into, elevating your painting. Now, if you're, really wanting to discover more and more about these kind of methods, then I have a lovely free mini course going through a project actually with free drawing, and then how I use the colors with that, and taking you through the process. And I think this is the important thing about finding a process, something that you feel comfortable with. So I'm going to put the link for the free mini course below, and you'll certainly find it helpful again to expand your ideas and different techniques to discover new things that will help you to feel really confident and excited about your painting. So I'll leave the link for that below. So now I've got the first layer down, but it's kind of just very interesting how these shapes work. And it's the beginning. It's experimenting with different shapes to start with. And in my next video, I'm going to show you how to incorporate the shapes actually into maybe a play painting that you've been doing, so you can transfer this experience into the next stage. So look out for that next week. Now, if you're enjoying the video, do give me the thumbs up and subscribe. That would be wonderful. It would really help me, share the video with more people who are interested in, learning more about abstract painting. And, if you've got any questions or comments, or tell me what you think, do write them in the comments below. It's always lovely to read them. What's your experience of doing different things with shapes? I'd love to hear. So let's carry on, and I'm going to do some more layers and see where it might go. I mean, it's very in your face at the moment, so maybe we'll keep it that way for the experiment's sake. But I want to do a little bit more. A lot of my inspiration for my paintings I get from, looking at the masters. And, when you're looking for prompts and ideas, it's wonderful to go and have a look at the different artists that you might like, or explore new ones. One of my favorites as far as shapes are concerned is Paul Klee. And his paintings, some they're quite small, they're not that big, but his shapes and colors and color values are absolutely magical. And I would strongly suggest you're going to have a look at some of his work for inspiration, especially if you're going to, say just do something on squares and triangles, for example. Some of his paintings are absolutely amazing, and you can gain so much from looking at, the masters for ideas and inspiration. And I feel that, one of the most critical things that many students have a challenge with is thinking that they're they're not doing the right thing, or it's not good enough, and all those crazy thoughts that we might have. But when you start exploring abstract art, modern art, contemporary art, some of the paintings are so straightforward and simple, and you kind of it validates what you do. You should never be scared about what your work is doing. It's a misconception, and it's all that goes on in our head because we're too eager to compare ourselves with other artists who've got their own ideas. We've all got our ideas and our different way of doing something. And, to be comparing all the time is not a great way to go. the thing to do when you're looking at paintings is ask yourself the right questions. What do you like about it? And take that away to inspire what you do. You know, what did I like about, or what do I like about that scarf? You know, I just love the colours and the clarity of the shapes. And that's what's inspired me. And I'm putting my own twist on it. And you can do the same. If you, for example, go and have a look at Paul Klee, see what you like, if you like it, what do you like about it, and put your own stamp on it. Do it slightly differently. Do use different colours, use different sizes of shapes. We want to use, you know, our learning to our advantage, not to make us feel downcast or frustrated or, you know, worried about what we're doing. You know, everything is relative. I haven't done a picture like this for years, and it's great to come back to doing something that is completely different to my normal way of painting. And it's exciting because that leads me on to something else, which will lead me on to something else. And it's exciting because you're constantly growing as an artist. There is no kind of full stop. You can just continue and continue and continue growing and learning, exploring, discovering, playing. It's so fantastic to have art as our, you know, as our hobby or as our love or as our career. And getting over those initial, what would you call it, apprehensions. You know, if you get past that and just go into the zone of playing and exploring, you'll be absolutely on the right track. And, you know, when I consider all the courses that I have created, and you can see those on my website, you know, it's all about discovering new things, learning some techniques, you know, how we get that balance in a painting or how we do the composition or, you know, what are the color values, looking at our color wheel. We can cover those, and I do cover those in many of my courses, you know, to help people with their painting. But at the end of the day, it comes down to what you love and putting that into your painting and enjoying it and discovering new things about you know, what you can do and what you love to do. So now back to this painting. It's kind of taking on some few new dimensions, and interesting how it's progressing. You know, I'm obviously increasing the layers and adding all kinds of things that I wouldn't normally do. And it's fun because I'm on a whole new bandwidth here of, you know, experimentation and discovery. And it's really good. You know, it's a good experience. I'm enjoying you know, it took me, you know, the day to do this, and I had a wonderful time. It was pouring with rain outside and it was cold. And here I'm doing this lovely, bright colored, sort of sunny type painting, and it made me feel great. And I think that's one of the wonderful things about our painting. It makes us feel great. It gives us a new sense of purpose and being and aliveness and intrigue, and you know, it gives us so much more to our life, which I think is absolutely magical. So I've taken the picture off the board, you know, looking at it in all different ways. It's quite wacky, isn't it? But interesting for an experiment. And I thought now what I'd do is I'd have a little bit of a play with it with the Posco pens, the big ones and these smaller ones, and, you know, have some fun. But seeing this video is quite long, I'm going to save that till next week. And because it's going to take a little bit of time, and I always think it's great to see the finishing touches to a painting, and I don't want to rush it, and I don't want you to be here all day. So I'm going to do this second half with using all these different pens, and show you how we can finish it off in the video next week. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This really helps me, and I'd so much appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I will look forward to sharing the rest of this wonderful painting with you next week. So happy painting, lots of love, and bye for now.